So then we construct the definition. So NLP is three-letter word, so three alphabets, NLP. So we're talking about first condition, that's the neurology, the neuro, the mind, actually. So we want to structure and understand how the brain basically functions. Now, while we're understanding it, sure, there are a lot of scientific research models that are available, which we also utilize, and we try to understand how the brain functions. And we want to understand what are our neural connections. So in our neural networks, we basically take in certain input. Now, what are those, things that basically hit onto our neurology, and how do we basically decipher them from where? So first one, we have the visual. We can see you're all logged in, you're all plugged in. While I'm seeing this, this is projecting certain information into my brain, so in my mind, and it creates a process. So there's a visual. Then second one is I can always taste things. So the taste is also a function that basically gives an input to the brain, and olfactory, gustatory, sorry for taste. So gustatory. And for the smell, it's like sniffing, which is we smell stuff, and there's odors, and there's fragrance, anything that we can decipher that also gives an input to the brain. So then that's olfactory, sniffing, smelling, and then we have something which is also called hearing, listening. So that's our ears, so that's auditory, any auditory signals that are basically coming inside the brain. So we have visual, gustatory, olfactory, we have got auditory, and then we're looking also one more step ahead to the kinesthetic. So while I'm sitting here, I'm also feeling something. So what is the temperature like? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling nervous? Am I feeling confident? These are all the sense of feelings also, which are based on the inputs, which is called the kinesthetic. So that's the first one. So neuro is the input, the processing capability through our five senses. And these are the five senses that we're looking at. Then we have got the second one, which is called the linguistics. So when the client comes in, of course, now the client can see, the client can hear, the client can listen, the client can touch, feel, the client can, sniff, smell, and client can also taste and everything. So the client is neurologically functioning. So, one thing that, most people ask, what kind of clients can I take? Well, number one, we're performing neurologically. So if they can adhere to certain, senses, and if they are able to be receptive, those are good clients to basically work on in terms of coaching perspective. So that's the first, adherence. Now the second adherence is, now what do I do? I do understand that I have these five senses. How do I interpretate them? Now that's where the second phase comes in. So neuro, N, and then L, which is called the linguistics. Now linguistics is also really important. Everything is the meaning that we give to our set of communication, the meaning that we attribute to the words, the meaning that we attribute to certain experiences. Communication is everything. Linguistics are what basically how we wire our neural networks in our brain also. It's amazing. So when clients will come to you with their problems, they're linguistically going to shape them and tell you. So they're going to tell you, I have a problem. So for example, somebody comes to you, I recently went through a divorce. Now, when they say that, they say it in linguistic. Now, we want to understand, what do they really mean by the statement? I've recently gone through, divorce. So we want to understand the more linguistic part of it. We want to understand what exactly is entitled when they're saying, I have recently. How much is recent? I don't know. So we want to linguistically, be able to measure that. Somebody says, I've been through a divorce. What do you really mean by divorce? What is divorce in your context? So, for example, in Pakistan, it could be, basically verbally saying, the word divorce, and then it happens for certain people. And in other countries, it's like by legally proceeding something, and then that's basically divorce. But what do they really mean? What is divorce really entitled for a client? What do they understand from it? Is it causing something? Is it, attributing to certain thing? So that's the linguistics. So of course I see, but see what? Linguistics. So we want to, understand the meaning of the communication that is happening. So neuro, linguistic, and after linguistic, we want to basically also go to the third aspect, which is called the programming. Now that's where the modeling technology comes in. Now every computer, like for example, has an input, has an output, and then processing, area. So the programming is how you can basically look at person's internal representation, how they're basically managing the communication in their neural networks, understanding them, and basically also guiding them to basically create better ones, creating strategies, creating beliefs, creating values, creating an attitude that basically serves them to go towards empowerment. So we're basically programming our brain to basically attune to professionalism, or attune to excellence, or attune towards success. So that's in definition what NLP is.